Hello, my name is Demetrius Morrow. I'm doing a case study on Mary Jo. And so, starting off, Mary Jo's life is most definitely affected by her grieving process following the loss of Jim. This represents not just the loss of her husband, but a shift in her identity and daily routine. After decades of marriage, Mary Jo is now isolated in a large, empty house that constantly reminds her of Jim. The loss of a long term partner can be devastating as it often involves many losses chained together. They come in the form of a loss to companionship, shared routines, financial security, and sometimes even social connections that were maintained through the spouse. Mary Jo's situation reflects role exit, the process of disengaging from significant social roles that formed a central part of her identity. Her avoidance of social interactions suggests that she may be experiencing social disengagement, a common response during bereavement. This withdrawal, combined with her comments about being too tired and not feeling well, shows she may be struggling with both the emotional and physical symptoms of grief. Given these signs, there is concern that her grief might be transitioning from normal to a more complicated grief response that could send her overall well being in the wrong direction. A structured support environment would be beneficial. This might include a grief support group specifically for older adults who have a long lost uh, partner or a lost long term partner, per se, particularly one that incorporates her interests like knitting or baking. For Mary Jo, while the primary role of hospice was to support Jim and provide relief for her as his caregiver, there may be still potential for continued supportive services now that she is grieving. Mary Jo might benefit from reconnecting with the hospice that care for Jim to access their bereavement services. Many hospice programs offer bereavement follow up for 12 to 13 months after a death, which is a critical period for adjustment. These services often include counseling, support groups, and memorial events that acknowledge important dates and anniversaries. Older adults who receive structured bereavement support show better psychological outcomes and reduce risk of complicated grief. Hospice care clearly provided benefits near the end of Jim's life. This benefit was enabling him to remain at home and receive compassionate care. Hospice services helped fulfill his desire to stay in a familiar and comforting environment. If I were visiting Mary Jo as a health professional, it would be important to approach the situation with an understanding of the unique challenges of grief in later life. Research indicates that older adults may experience grief differently than those who are younger, with more bodily complaints and less obvious emotional expressions. I would expect to see signs of grief demonstrated through both emotional and physical symptoms. The visit will begin with an open conversation that concedes the significance of her loss while also surveying her current adjustment process. I would try to help address practical challenges of living alone. And so next, Mary Jo's behavior suggests potential signs of depression that extend beyond normal grief, like persistent social withdrawals, her consistent refusal to join friends in the social outings might indicate more than temporary withdrawal. Abandonment of her identifying, defining activities, her complete disengagement from previously central activities, and somatic symptoms like feeling too tired and feeling too not well. So, thank you. That is my case study. Have a great evening.